with Linux, you'll be fine.
No, because at my 9 to 5, we don't have Linux, and it sucks. Almost 80% of the help desk are Outlook or Exchange related.
Yeah, but that's because you're in charge.
No, actually, I'm not. I've been demoted.
Oh, geez, wow. Chris looks like a jerk. No hate mail, please.
He was definitely trying to press your buttons there. No, the whole point of the story is it's still freaking spinning right now. And I've had it up there for like a minute.
It's like the little updater on the top right, constantly seeing if you have new Google Pluses, and constantly doing a background refresh to see if you have new emails, and constantly refreshing to see if there's new buzzes that are available, and constantly refreshing to see if there's new people to chat with.
So does this happen to you? Does this happen to you?
Yeah, on every system I have.
Okay.
It never happens to me. So are you on, sorry, Steve, are you on Chrome?
Yeah, Chrome, Gmail.
Have you tried it with does the same thing happens with Firefox and IE?
I'm pretty darn sure, yeah. IE, I don't know. I haven't used that in 20 years.
Why don't you just try it just for fun, just to see? Maybe you're not. Maybe it's. I've had Chrome act funny on some computers lately.
Okay.
Try it in Firefox, just to see.
Dor, do you use the HTML version, or are you still using the Java version?
When I'm at work in my IE, because it will not stop spinning, and I know if I do too much activity to a single place, I'll get dinged, I load the basic one up.
And do you lose functionality?
You lose like hotkey commands, all of like the drop downs to fill in stuff, all that stuff works.
Oh, okay. I might try that. Thanks for the tip on that. All right. What don't you like, Dor?
What I don't like is UEFI. It's the new thing that Microsoft is, it appears like they're trying to pressure hardware manufacturers to put on the motherboards, get rid of the old BIOS, put in this new UEFI, which is Universal EFI, which is going to make it to where you have to be digitally signed by this group, which Microsoft's going to have control of, to be able to boot to the operating system. Devil's advocate. They want to stop malware, rootkits, things.
Yeah, MBR viruses, right?
Yeah, and that is the truth. I do think that makes sense, but anyone with any common sense at all should know that isn't going to even slow down the bad guys. Okay, here's why this sucks. Not because Linux won't install or boot, not because BSD won't install and boot, not because Unix won't install or boot, but because you will not be able to boot to BART PE. You will not be able to boot to a single bootable tool on this computer. And if you go to install TrueCrypt to encrypt the entire hard drive, guess what? You can't. It is so restrictive. It is so dumb. Just make your kernel secure. Just make your browser secure. Just close up the exploits. Make your system truly multi-user. Make your system actually have correct handoffs of authority and not have, these elevated access exploits happen every 30 days. Don't lock down the BIOS like that, or the UEFI. It is such a huge mistake as far as I'm concerned, because in the end, it's not going to help at all.
Wow.
I don't even know where to start. you know Mac's been doing it for like 10 years, right?
Not UEFI.
Yeah, UEFI. That's what they're EFI.
I know.
So it's very similar. My new computer has
but it is
UEFI.
not secure like that.
No, but it's better. It's definitely you have to remember BIOS is a 30, 40-year-old technology.
I know.
We do need to move ahead.
I agree.
Whatever Steve Gibson says, there's still we need to move ahead. Not everyone can stay on Windows XP.
Is he on XP? At least he upgraded from 2000.
Right. Yeah, well, he won't go. He says, "Oh, everything new is horrible," and of course he would fight me on that, and he would beat me because he's a smarter guy than me. But whatever, And
it's just insecure. It's harder to lock down. And he's right. But I agree. BIOS is too old. We have to move forward. But to allow Microsoft to dictate to hardware manufacturers about locking down to a specific digital signature is really scary. If manufacturers are smart, they will have in the BIOS a way to disable and enable that. And I have no problem having that enabled from the factory. I believe it could offer a benefit for 30 days until hackers are around it.
But Door, you know, like the guys from Bar PE and these other places will make it so that these other tools can boot from UEFI, and that'll all be fine. Yeah, but Microsoft isn't. I personally don't think Microsoft is the mortal enemy. I personally
don't think they have any brains. You know, look at Ballmer. I mean, you know. Windows Phone Microsoft kin for the win.
They make some classic colossal blunders.
I agree. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, be interesting to see what happens over the next 10 years.
Well, I hope I'm wrong, and I hope it's correctly locked down to where it is hard to mess with the master boot record, but then of course Adobe Photoshop and CS4 won't install either. I hope they do it the right way. That's all I say.
Good one, Dora. It's a valid issue you bring up. We'll see what happens. I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
All right, Eric. What do you not like?
My dislikes are nothing compared to stuff like that. I dislike that I had to drive an hour to buy this beer because I can't find it anywhere else around. It's called Beer 30.
That's important.
Now, tell us there's a little history about this. You saw it, at a gas station, and you decided not to get it because you thought you could get it down the street, and then they didn't have it, and then you were on a quest for it, right?
Yeah, I was on a quest for it, and it took me all the way around that place where I originally saw it at, and I ended up having to go right back to that place, which is off I-80 in Illinois, and also happens to have the cheapest gas anywhere, along with the cheapest Beer 30 beer around. I don't know how they do it. They come up with strange brews and cheap gas. So if I'm ever by Anawan, Illinois, again, that is definitely the place where I'm going.
Now I got a couple questions here. Like you didn't complain about the taste. So is Beer 30 actually a good beer?
I don't know.
I mean, why go so far for it?
Just the idea. Beer 30 just sounds so cool, Then they also had another one called, and I've got some of that too, and it only comes in a 30 pack, so it makes sense that's Beer 30. But there's a little clock on here, and every time is Beer 30 on the side, on the zero.
Oh man, my back hurts.
So awesome! They make you buy 30. Our beer is so awful you can only buy the 30 pack.
And it's purple. I never see beer in a purple can.
It's brewed by the Melanie Brewing Company. Melanie is in the girl's name in La Crosse, Wisconsin, which is where Old Style used to be made. So I don't know if it's like, the leftovers of that old factory that they're redoing or what.
Awesome. I see people like driving out of the way for like an awesome meal, like, oh, they have the best cheesesteaks in Philly, you got to go there. I know it's far, but we go there. Eric drives an hour away for crappy beer.
But honestly,
it's awesome. It's commendable.
Yeah, I had to actually, I was within 20 miles of there, and that's why I went back to it.
Okay.
But I did try in the town 20 miles away. No, they didn't have it.
That's amazing.
It's crazy.
The only thing that could make it better is Beer 30 Ice.
They make it 7.4%.
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Now, I got this one and the other. It's like Milwaukee Select that I never heard of before too. And one of the two, I didn't look at the receipt to tell which is which. One of the two was $13.99 a 30 pack. The other one was $11.99 a 30 pack.
Oh my goodness!
Damn.
Yeah,
you can't even get water that cheap,
dude. That's what like 15-year-olds get.
I-80 driving. It goes from one end of the country to the other. Stop in Anawan, exit, get yourself some for the rest of the drive.
If you want to have a frat party and don't have a big budget.
For the rest of the drive.
or wait till you get there, whatever. They didn't sell it cold, so you don't, probably not the rest of the drive.
That is awesome, Eric. Well done. All right. Chris, did we do what don't you like?
Nope.
All right, what don't you like?
I don't like the price of printer toner cartridge. After all this damn printing, it's pissing me off. I looked, I went, oh God, I'm running out of ink. It's like I have this like super fancy multi-function crap, and it's like $100 a cartridge. I'm like, what? So $395 later, I have new toner for my freaking printer. Kiss my butt.
Dude, you're getting a Dell.
Yeah, I know. I went and got
Come
it filled. I went and got it filled at the mall for $34, right? You know, it's like I had enough money left over for a Starbucks when I was done. It was like, but it's just, I couldn't believe it. I was like, really? Wow. So that sucks.
That does suck.
Yeah.
That's what you get for printing things.
I know. It serves me right. That's why I stopped printing to begin with.
All right. Here's a, let's see this. This is a short story. My dad sent me. He says it's called Parking Ticket. He says working people, and it's from a retired couple wrote this. Group of retired people, and they basically had people ask them. Working people frequently ask retired people what they do to make their days interesting. Well, for example, the other day, my wife and I went into town, and we went into a shop. We were only in there for about 5 minutes. When we came out, a cop was writing a parking ticket. We went up to him and said, come on, man, how about you give a senior citizen a break? He ignored us and continued to write the ticket. I called him a Nazi turd. He glared at me and started writing another ticket for having worn tires. So my wife called him an SHIT head. And he finished writing the second ticket and put it on the windshield with the first. Then he started writing a third ticket. He said this went on for about 20 minutes. The more we abused him, the more tickets he wrote. Personally, we didn't care. We came to town by bus, and we saw the car had an Obama bumper sticker.
I guess the question should have been, is this your car?
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so awesome. We didn't care.
I love that ending.
I like that too.
Yeah. Ray writes in, and he said, so glad to see the Top Gear about the Reliant Robin. Remember that car with the 3 wheels?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I've watched several seasons and laughed many times, but that episode of Top Gear was one of the funniest I've ever seen. Yeah. I was laughing in my truck listening to you guys, laughing at it while watching it. Thanks again for keeping Nuts at night, and I don't care if Chris likes me.
We don't either.
Thank God.
All right, this is... being a cat lover, Steve, you'll love this. This is from Pete. And this is a short little video here. It's a WMV. I wonder, can I play this on Linux door?
Oh, why not?
Yeah, it's playing. All right, here's a little video. Little kitty cat. Growling with a cigarette in his mouth.
Oh, my Lord.
Oh.
Dude. Is that a cat in, like, Washington, D.C. or something? Because that's hardcore.
That is hardcore.
Oh.
It's a kitten.
Fired up.
Boy, it ain't gonna let go of that cigarette for nothing either.
Well, it is a narcotic. Just like
it will not let go of the cigarette. He just wants it so bad, and he's smoking it. He's eating it like a cigarette, like holding it like a cigarette.
Oh my goodness!
Isn't that a funny little video?
That is funny.
Cute little kitty. All right, that is from Pete. Pete, thanks for that. That's awesome.
It's funny how things do stuff like that. Like, I got a quick story. My son, who's about 10 months old, so we potty trained my daughter, who's about 2.5, and her potty is in the kitchen, but it's behind a gate, like a baby gate. And so she goes, Daddy, gotta pee. And I'm like, okay. So we run in and we open up the kitchen. She goes in, she pees. All's good. So we give her Smartie treat for peeing and not pissing on the floor. Right, fantastic. And we leave. And then all of a sudden I'll look around and I'll hear my son going, and he's only 11 months old, and he's in her pee with his hands in the potty in the bathroom, right? Because he knows he's not allowed, but yet it's the greatest time ever. Because he's not allowed. And he's laughing so hard. I mean, it's really funny watching things like that with a 10-month-old. It's like, you're like, oh, fantastic. Oh, good. I'm certainly glad you peed in your potty. I'm really not cool with you, scooping pee in your mouth.
It's gross,
yeah. Dude. Yeah, welcome to the world of kids.
That's awesome.
It's just really cute. He's really cute.
Sounds like it.
Playing and pee.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's just funny.
I know.
This is Wilbur a video from Wilbur Bear.
This was crazy.
It's a 3-minute long video. This guy's basically taking a salt shaker and some pepper, or I mean some paper,